Hello and welcome to Podcast Unlock episode 405. I'm Marina Sanchez filling in for Ryan McCaffrey while he takes a much needed vacation. We got plenty to talk about though. We're going to kick things off with some Monster Hunter Iceborne preview commentary from our Monster Hunter expert. I'm very excited to have her on. And then we have plenty else more on the show. We have some new details on the Outer Wilds difficulty settings, which actually changed the game a whole lot, and that's super cool. And then we also have some news about Microsoft's Mixer platform. Interesting news to say the least, but we'll get to it here in a second. Stay tuned.
Podcast Unlocked.
Yay, we did it. Sometimes whenever Ryan leaves, someone will always mess with these settings in here. And I'm just like, why isn't this working anymore? I don't usually host, but now here we are. We did it.
You do a good job hosting.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I'm glad to have you on to set everything up.
To press the buttons and set up the camera and do the lights.
Yeah.
The room was a little bit of a disaster today.
A little bit.
I'm like, why is there a ladder in our shot?
We've had a little bit of chaos. So joining me on this week's show is Destin Legary.
Bam! Hey, everybody.
I've missed that, Bam.
That was so loud.
So good.
That's why I had to adjust the audio. I'm like, will my bam come through at an appropriate level?
It's very important. A key point of the show.
Definitely.
And making her Podcast Unlock debut is Casey DeFreitas, our Monster Hunter expert.
Hello.
Hey. And then next to her is Mark Medina.
Yeah, the other Monster Hunter expert. Yeah, I'm here to talk about Monster Hunter. I love monsters.
Where you hunt
I love
monsters.
hunting them. Let's
Yeah.
do this.
Mark and I were putting together our games list, and we assign leads to just make sure that things are happening on the video side. And next to Monster Hunter, I just put Casey.
Yep. Yep.
I didn't talk
Yep.
to her about it. I'm just like, yeah, we don't know anything about this.
And then a whole team of people who've never played it.
Yep, we know. Oh, a lot of us have played it.
Oh, I
but
meant
not
our
yeah.
team.
Nobody has actually played it
played
like her.
an hour or so.
I played 2 hours of Dauntless, so that's got to
That does
count for
not
something.
Count. I played about half of Monster Hunter World, so I got to the main big boss fight, and then everything else opens up, and there's more to do. And then I just didn't have time to go back and do it. I think I had 40 hours at that point.
Yeah, I know Duggan got to around the same point, but otherwise, Tom's beaten the game and Stella has beaten the game. But Stella has a PC save, so she can't play Iceborne when it first comes out. Yeah, unfortunately, because it's going to be console only. But yeah, I did get to go hands-on with Monster Hunter World Iceborne for the first few hours of the game. I think I played for about 4 or 5 hours, so I was able to do 6 hunts. And it's really cool. There are so many small improvements that will make the experience overall just significantly better. Man, they're going to sound really small and really insignificant, but it's significant, I promise.
We all know how important those little things are. They go a long way.
So in Monster Hunter, you have radial menus, and previously in Monster Hunter World, you couldn't use your radial menu in the hub with other people, but now you can. You can make a radial menu specifically for social and interacting with people, so you can use emotes and everything in the hub.
Damn!
I know, but there's more.
Better.
Destin's mind has been blown.
You
He can
also-
dance in a town.
You can, without having to go through a bunch of different menus. You can just radial menu, and then you can prance.
Let's go Monster Hunter World Iceborne.
But wait, there's more. Also with the radial menu.
I'm being color commentary in case the listeners are wondering.
So you could always add crafting items onto your radial menu as well. So if you were a gunner or if you did support Sword and Shield, which was especially important for something like the Behemoth raid, not raid, but it was basically an MMO boss fight. It was very difficult.
Yeah.
You would have to be crafting items all the time on the go. And before you would have to press the stick every time you wanted to craft one.
No way.
And now you can
Not
change
anymore.
It. Now you can change it to all. So if you are missing all 3 flash pods, you can craft all 3 at the same time. Or if you're missing 10 mega potions, you can craft all 10 at the same time.
That's what I'm talking about.
No,
Am I right, Monster Hunter World fans?
I don't know. I do so much support in this game and so much crafting that just makes it so much easier. Because before I would run in circles trying to avoid something, crafting all of my stuff, and it would just take forever. And now it's super
Now it's simple.
I hope I'm not coming off patronizing. I'm trying to.
it's very
I'm trying
sweet.
to be the voice of the community who is really excited, like you are.
Yeah, I don't know.
For
like,
this
I-
content, you know.
And I also, one of the things I went back and told people, my friends who are super into it, guys, there are going to be decoration slots on mantles now. And
Get it.
that sounds, and they are only
On
active.
mantles?
Yeah.
It's like what happens when you mantle?
What? No.
Oh,
They're just
I blew the illusion.
So it's called a hunter tool, and it's something that you put on that adds a special effect. And now when you put it on, it'll have that special effect as well as whatever the decorations do. So they'll add extra points into your attack boost or your critical eye or your evade window or whatever you want it to be.
Okay.
You can also now change your palico equipment besides the box and from the armory. And before you would have to go inside of your room to be able to change it.
Oh, that's actually
Yeah.
just a nice quality of life thing.
Yeah,
I'm being genuine. Like
Yeah, I mean, there's so
anytime
much
you
of that.
anytime you got to go somewhere else in a game,
It's
and
obnoxious.
you can do it like more in the open world or whatever. That's nice. That's
Sometimes I do like that because it forces you to go to a different environment that you maybe don't go to that often, and that's the whole
True.
point, right? It's like trying to get you to go do that.
yeah.
And so I get it, but also agree. Like, just let me change my palico when I need to, because like they're with you the whole time. It's like just my right hand needs to be changed easily.
Yeah. Like
Come on.
sometimes I usually rock it and make my palico look like a Moogle, but sometimes I want him to look like a cat.
Yeah.
I think there's one question everyone has.
Yeah.
What is a palico?
It's the little cat guys.
Yeah.
Even I know that.
The
Like
palico-
a calico?
Yeah.
It
Can
can
it
be.
be a calico?
It can be a
palico?
calico
Oh,
palico.
okay, I'm in.
It's just your little
My
feline
cat is
friend.
a calico.
They fight with you.
Yeah.
They're great.
They're your friends.
My cat fights with me.
And you can now pet your palico.
That's like
In the
it's
gathering
so
hub.
huge.
And you
That-
were never able to do
Twitter
that before.
account, can you pet the palico?
Yeah. That one.
Everyone's favorite Twitter account.
We
It's
tagged
like, can you pet the dog? Is the Twitter account? I wonder if
Yeah.
they tweeted about that.
we actually tagged them in it and they ignored us.
Oh,
What
What
we
is
tried.
up?
Well, it's because it's
Very
a cat.
rude.
They're looking to pet dogs.
Sometimes they post about cats, I think.
Do they?
For April Fools.
Oh,
Well, we
well,
all know cats are superior.
maybe in 8 months we'll see. we'll get their due.
Yeah, there are a ton of like very small quality of life changes there. We have an article up called like 9 exciting quality of life changes up right now. And we're going to be adding to that as the month goes on, as we notice more things, at least the things that we're allowed to talk about.
Yeah,
So
of
look
course.
out for that. But one of the biggest changes is now the gathering hub where you go to hang out with all of your people has everything you need, because in Monster Hunter World, you go to the gathering hub, the armory isn't there, your research isn't there, so you couldn't like
about
harvest
that?
and farm while
what
you're
about the
there.
cooking place?
The cooking place was there, but that was it. Like
Oh, okay.
it was that in your box, but none of the other resources and things you would need to do in between quests were there. And now everything is there.
Okay.
So you can stay in the gathering hub and you don't have to leave. And like on console, the loading screens are kind of brutal. So if you're in the middle
get
of a Kulve Teroth siege, you need to be going as fast as possible to keep up with the other teams, because it's 4 groups of 4 doing things at the same time. You don't have the 5 minutes to go in between your quests to go all the way back to the armory to like change your bowgun mods, for example. But now you can change your bowgun mods at your box in Iceborne, so it doesn't even matter anymore. It's great.
Do people that only have regular Monster Hunter get any of these quality of life updates?
Funny that you ask, because I was just about to mention. So you can change your palico equipment everywhere in both. You'll be able to use your specific radial menu in the gathering hub and like do change all in both. And both will also be getting dynamic difficulty settings for 2 players. So the 2 players will have a different difficulty setting compared to 3 or 4. So and that's super nice and wonderful.
Yeah.
And man, I haven't even talked about the monsters, but those are really cool too.
I was about to say, could you please
yeah.
tell us about the monsters? Because I think that's like the most exciting thing for me. Like, obviously, the quality of life stuff for a longtime player like you, like, makes so much sense. And well, I notice and appreciate it. I think for you, it like makes so much more of a difference. But I want to know about those monsters.
Yeah, Casey. I hope it's
So
not just like
cool.
a reskin. That's called softball. Yeah.
So I did get to fight three new subspecies, and subspecies have been in the Monster Hunter series for a very long time. And you actually, Pink Rathian and Azure Rathalos are technically subspecies as well, but they're pretty like soft compared to some of the more like extravagant subspecies that they usually introduced into G rank. And so I got to fight Viper Tobikadachi, Nightshade Paolumu, and Coral Puke Puke. And that Viper Tobikadachi, I want to curse, but I'm not going to, because he was really difficult. He can inflict poison with his tail attacks and paralysis with his like bite attacks.
That's a bad combo.
Yeah, and it's very fast and wily, and its attack patterns are just slightly different from regular Tobikadachi, so you can't exactly predict what it's going to do. and that carded 2 of us at the same time. So I was playing, it was me and Tom, and then 2 other people carded me and another person at the same time.
Dang.
What's that monster's name?
Toby Kadachi. Viper Toby Kadachi.
All right, I'm gonna practice that.
It's like a snake flying squirrel monster.
Is it the one that like
Sure.
up?
That's the one that looks like a snake, and he like is this and then can fly.
Oh, okay. How does he do it though? I
This.
missed. Oh, okay.
You don't know how Togo Dodachis fly, Destin?
Imagine a
Silly.
flying squirrel, except it has scales and a snake
Oh,
head.
all right. That's a good
All right.
measure.
That's what I pictured when I heard the name.
beautiful.
So
And then there's Nightshade
wrong fan base.
Paolumu,
Paolumu,
which
that's probably
is
the one you're thinking of.
the emo goth, puffy,
Yeah.
puff boy, puff bat.
So good.
It's like a bat with a scaled armadillo tail and a mouse head, and its neck is really long, and it can inhale and inflate, and then it flies around like a balloon. And one of its attacks is that it like violently deflates and then like ricochets all over the place like a deflated balloon.
they called me Puff Boy in high school,
And
and I did all
Nightshade,
those things. So
Nightshade Paolumu can now inflict sleep, and it can leave areas coated in sleep on the floor. So you not only have to avoid its sleep attacks, but you have to avoid the area effects that it leaves around.
What do you cut off of these 2 monsters as like the coveted challenge?
They're kind of they're not. These are not super difficult monsters. I think like you can't really. You can break things, but
Okay.
you're not cutting things off of them.
Okay. Well, like some of them you can cut off like the
Yeah,
tail
no,
and stuff,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. Like
Alright.
Coral Puke Puke, you can't cut off its tail.
Got it.
Hmm.
Okay.
Mark, did you have a nightshade phase?
I did.
In high school?
maybe no.
It's
Definitely not.
I just had to ask. See,
I
the
think-
similarities here.
I say it's emo instead of goth because it is like a really dark purple, almost black, but then it has some splashes of color here and there.
Oh yeah, it's definitely more emo
Yeah.
than goth.
Oh, I did. Totally.
Which one?
Goth. I'm probably goth more. Yeah.
Okay.
You had some
I'm more
splashes
aligned
of color
with
back
you
then?
guys.
No color.
Okay.
No
All
color.
black.
Oh,
I don't know. I was kind
Beautiful.
of definitely emo.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Except I never went
20 years ago.
I never went full on with the emo hair. I never went full on with it.
I had the bangs.
I still have the bangs, right? Like
I had it so. Never mind. I'm not gonna get into that.
no, Miranda, tell us about your emo.
So it's
High
like,
school.
It was so far in my face that like I think it changed my vision a little bit between my eyes.
oh no.
So cut your bangs, y'all.
And then I also got to fight Coral Puke Puke, and this is an orange-red version of Puke Puke that lives in the Coral Highlands, and it also sprays water out of its tail, like imagine a fire hose. So Tom liked to call it the fire truck Puke Puke.
It does look like one.
Yeah. Its tail, so it can it sprays water out of both ends at the same time sometimes, and it can also fly into the air. And its tail. I remember that one time I got food poisoning.
Oh no! Anyway,
That's what happens, man.
Puke Puke gives himself food poisoning by eating just random things it finds around in the world, and then it just spews water at you. But
I wonder what their
tail-
design inspiration was.
Gosh, I mean,
Okay.
other
Roll bad day.
I was told coming into this podcast, do not derail it. You guys have a hard out today. And
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Like our news,
I've ruined it.
This is what I was hoping for because our news, we've got good news, but it's not the heaviest news.
Regular Puke Puke has poison. This one has water. Its water attacks, even though it doesn't poison you, it does inflict water blight, and it does more damage than Puke Puke's poison attacks.
I like his name. I like Puke Puke.
Puke
That's a
Puke.
fun
The
name.
Monster Hunter monster names are really great.
Yeah.
And the designs are too. I don't know. Monster Hunter's
And I like in Monster Hunter World, they made it so that all of the monster names will share the same translation. Like Rathalos in previous games, it was Rathalos here, but it was like Leonidas in Japanese. Don't quote me on that. It was something like that. I've never played the
Miranda's
Japanese version.
son, or no, never mind. Casey
just stop while you're
DeFreitas.
ahead.
Casey DeFreitas. IGN.com.
But we also got to play a lot with the Clutch Claw and then do a new tutorial using it, and that's the new tool that only people with Iceborne will be able to play.
Coming in
be able
clutch.
to use. It's really cool and really changes up the gameplay in a totally different way. And so that combined with all of the weapons also have a new attack and a new move. and they're all totally different. The clutch claw is different with every weapon as well. But with every weapon, you can grab onto the monster, and then you can either attack it with a weapon to wound its hide, which makes it take more damage from that part. And it'll also drop slinger ammo, which you can then pick up.
Nice.
And then the next time you grab onto it, you can change its direction with one button. And then you can unleash all of your slinger ammo at the same time, and it makes it run forward. So the goal is basically to make it face a wall and then make it run into the wall, and then it falls over.
Let me ask you a more generalized question about Monster
Yes.
Hunter World Iceborne. Does this update have you excited to get back into Monster Hunter World? Is this going to bring back a lot of lapsed players?
I don't think Casey's ever stopped playing.
No,
But-
I would.
Because like I know how
But yeah.
Destiny goes, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is like eventually there's just not updates, so you're like grinding out mats or something like that.
There
probably.
were a few months where I would only come back for special events, and like when I was missing something, or like when like the Witcher collab came back, I think is when I started playing again. And before that, I didn't play until so Lunastra came out. I basically stopped playing until the Witcher collab came back.
Yeah, you did the Witcher and the Street Fighter thing. I remember.
Yeah, and Street
Yeah.
Fighter was even before that.
They've
But
had so many cool collaborations from Monster
a
Yeah.
And like
ton.
the support they've put behind it has been really impressive, honestly.
The Witcher collaboration was insane, and the Ancient Lesson is probably one of the most difficult fights in the game besides Extreme Behemoth.
Extreme.
Yeah. Oh, it's Behemoth,
Literally in the
but
title.
like an art-tempered version, and you
Yeah.
have to be Hunter rank 50 to fight either of them. But they're like incredibly difficult, and so yeah, I kind of dropped off since Ancient Lesson. But when I knew I was going to be able to play Iceborne again, and it was coming out, I went back to it about a month ago and started playing a lot, just trying to
Prep.
like trying to prep, get back into it, make sure I was comfortable with everything, learn a new weapon, go back and finish doing some repeated challenges that I hadn't done. Like for some reason I just hadn't done Arc Tempered Zora Magdaros, for example. And so I just like went back and redid it. And right now all of the festivals are back again for Xbox, PS4, and PC. And so you can go back and do all of the event quests that you haven't done. And
You cracked your knuckles
did.
dramatically, like,
Do all
oh
of-
yeah,
It's very intense.
festivals are
quest.
back.
yeah,
That's
but
also great though. Like the way they change up the maps and just the whole aesthetic of them and like what you can get from them are just really cool.
you can get Poogie costumes, you get tickets for
There's that
special
pig.
layered armor, and they also have every day there's a new limited bounty, so you can get
Yeah.
different armor spheres and tickets and stuff. I do have an article and video on like how to prepare for Iceborne up. So if you want to like watch that, be like, I don't even know where to start, or like what do I need to do before Iceborne comes out. That's a really good one.
It's also super worth noting that Monster Hunter World is on Games Pass, guys.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
if you
yeah.
have it, like you can just download it and start playing, and Casey's guide can help you if you're interested in Iceborne and like finding that big expansion. Prepare for it.
Yeah.
So if it's been a while, you can just download it again, or you know, get into it for the first time and see if you like it.
I think it's definitely worth it, especially if you have friends to play with.
Yeah, I was.
Tweet Casey with all your Monster Hunter World questions.
I will actually respond to you.
Yes.
My Twitter is at ShinyKCD. No, I really love Monster Hunter. I've been playing it since 2004, and when I first played it, I had a bunch of people online kind of like shepherd me through it and teaching me how the best way to do things, and like what items I need, what armor I should make, and it helped so much. So I like to think I'm just like putting
You're
the
that
good
person.
karma back
Yeah.
out there. So yeah, even though Monster Hunter World does a much better job at teaching people and tutorializing, there's still a lot of things that you might not even know you can do or should be doing.
Yeah.
And I like I get a lot of enjoyment in like helping people out.
And it's co-op. You can play
Yeah.
with other people. It's great. So definitely give it a try if you can. If Casey's cat did not convince you, definitely
It's so good.
give it a look.
It's some of the most challenging things I've ever done in video games that make me feel genuinely, what is the word? I don't know, good about doing it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel accomplished. There we go. Like I actually feel accomplished when I beat something. Like the first time my team beat Behemoth, we just felt so good, so relieved because it was actually challenging and not in a like cheesy way.
Yeah, it just didn't feel like it was hard for the sake of them ramping up difficulty or giving it more armor or something. It's like, in a way, completely like a raid in Destiny, like your first raid.
Yeah.
Once you figured it out, you solved all the puzzles and got it together with your team. It's just the best feeling of accomplishment.
For sure.
Because you know that you improved and
Yeah.
that's why you were able to beat it.
Well, I guess we will be very excited to see more on Iceborne next month when it's out. Awesome. So before we get into news, I did want to make a comment that we did go to the Modern Warfare event. That's what I was gone for. I went with Bobby
Oh.
and with Cindy. But we're going to save that for next week, just in light of some of the events that have been happening in the United States and out of the respect of like what's happening, and just I think for our own personal good, just wait till next week. So, yeah, let's get to the news. All right. Halo Infinite. Anytime we get any news, I'm very excited about it. But this news is it feels kind of obvious to me, but it's news nonetheless. So Halo franchise's development director Frank O'Connor said the game will still play and look fantastic on Xbox One, while speaking to YouTuber Black Mist 523.
I'm shocked he didn't say this quote wasn't Halo franchise development director Frank O'Connor was like, oh yeah, Xbox One's gonna look like trash. That old clearly he's not gonna say anything like that.
Yeah.
But it is refreshing to hear that they are optimizing for the Xbox One platform.
Yeah, and he continued on to say, obviously, the special citizen for Halo Infinite will be Scarlet, and we've worked with that hardware team to make sure the game shows up amazingly on it. But it will also be for Xbox One, and it will look incredible, which I would expect. I would also they would never say it, but I'd also assume that like the OG Xbox, if you're like still playing with your launch Xbox, that thing's going to chug. Like
I'm scared.
Good.
It chugs on the menu right now.
Yeah, like I still have mine.
Well, that's getting an update too.
Oh, cool. I'm
having a hard
excited.
time. Yeah, so it's good to hear them just say anything about Halo Infinite, honestly. Like, I just can't get enough of that. And I know we have to wait till like late next year to get anything else because it's going to be coming out with Scarlet's.
I like love this time though. I love this time where it's like, I'm just so happy new consoles are coming out. Not that I'm like bored of the old consoles, but I love this time where it's kind of like, sure, if you have an Xbox One, you'll be able to play Halo Infinite and it'll be fine. But like the special citizen will be on it's the same thing with like Breath of the Wild, right?
Yeah.
Most people don't even realize that Breath of the Wild came out for Wii U. And they think it's like a totally bad version, which it's not. It's totally fine. But like that was a Switch game, you know? And like that's what people were playing it on. I remember playing PS4 back in the day. I got like Call of Duty Ghosts and I got Assassin's Creed 4. And then I remember playing Call of Duty Ghosts at like a friend's house on 360. And I was like, I totally forgot that wasn't like, I like this like bridging where it's like, it's still catering to the people who aren't going to make the Switch yet. But then it's also just very exciting to get the new thing and know you're getting the,
Yeah, I'm honestly always super surprised to hear that people played Breath of the Wild on Wii U.
Yeah.
Because it's like a thing you kind of forget about. And I wonder if it's going to be I don't know if it'd actually be the same thing between Xbox and Xbox One X. I think maybe in our communities it might be just because a lot of us are a little bit more intense about our gaming systems and probably day one purchases for us.
The Xbox One to X was significant. I'm curious how far the X and Scarlet are going to be apart. Based on the tech specs that we have, it does seem like a significant jump, but I still haven't seen visual evidence of that.
Like
increase in power.
I've read that Scarlet runs 8K 120 FPS,
but
which is like
my TV doesn't even support it.
That's not even. It can.
Yeah. That's like benchmarking stuff, and it also worries me that it's like obviously they can't show any games running on like PS5, but like that's a demo we got was them running Spider-Man.
That was
that leaked video.
Right.
And it's like, well, of course a PS4 game is going to load super fast. Like it's a PS4 game.
So super interesting about that. So both Sony and Microsoft are developing proprietary solid state drives. That are. I did a tech test behind the scenes. I never got to finish the feature, but M2 drives currently running on PC. I used a test case. I did PS4 with a standard hard drive, PS4 with an SSD, and an Xbox One X, and I test loading times with Grand Theft Auto, something that's on all platforms. And the M2 drive running on a PC did not match the time on that leaked Spider-Man video because I wanted an open world game that would be comparable, right?
Yeah.
And like extrapolating the data, current M2 drives, and it was a higher end one. I don't remember specifically the model, the M2 that I tested it on, still didn't meet that type of loading time increase.
Yeah, that's also like
decrease
stage demos and stuff like that. But the only thing that is we knew it was coming out on Xbox One. That's not the announcement, but it's like I'm kind of ready to get past that point. It's really hard to have like a PS4 Pro and an Xbox One X still have to cater to the really, really old consoles. And I know some people have those consoles still, and so that's totally fine. But it's like, imagine a Cyberpunk that ran only on PS4, Xbox One X. So then it's like, Death Stranding and all these games coming out. So it's like, imagine a Scarlet that they were like with Halo Infinite, no matter how good they make it, it does still have to run on that giant black Xbox One where the brick is bigger than the console. And like it still has to run on that console. I remember playing Assassin's Creed, not Odyssey, Origins on a regular PS4. And it was like, who's mowing the lawn? Oh, no, that's just my PS4 going crazy trying to run this game. Yeah, I'm excited for the new consoles, though.
I still have not got a PS4 Pro. They
haven't either.
They never went down on sale. It's still not a big enough jump.
They're like $350 now, which is like $50 off, but it's
And recently, Digital Foundry did a fascinating study about the PlayStation 4 Pro, and like the timing when it came out, it just wasn't enough of the jump for me to warrant that purchase yet. And the fact that the price hasn't come down, I'm just like,
it's too close to next gen too.
The X was like easy. I had a standard Xbox to an X. That's a significant jump. But going from like 1080 to not really 4K, that's just not a good sell for me.
It was noticeable in a game like Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
And it was also noticeable in a game like Red Dead.
Yep.
Loading times, right?
Like loading times and
like Monster Hunter has like a high frame rate mode, and it's like they kind of seemed like they did away with some of that stuff, which was weird. It's like when it first came out, it was like all the games got these like high frame rate modes, and now it's like every game that comes out, it's just you get what you get. Yeah. They kind of went away with that.
You look at Red Dead on PlayStation 4 Pro next to Xbox One X, and the Xbox One X has all these enhancements that also make it run better. So it's just, I mean, Sony clearly has sold more units, but I don't like the fact that they released this sort of middle of the road hardware at an interesting time. And
I have not
I haven't
either, so I have base versions of both.
Right. I was kind of surprised to see it not be more impressive, but
I remember we came back and did our coverage. We came back, we did that coverage from the event, and we're just like, okay. Like we didn't really know how to tackle it. Anyway, sorry, just thinking about tech stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's what this is about, right? It's about the hardware running these games, and so
I cannot wait to do timing tests for load time. This is how nerdy I am. I'm stoked to do loading time comparisons of the Scarlet and the PS5.
Dustin, I can't wait to put that in a chart on a wiki page.
So happy for you, Dustin. So happy.
The thing that they don't mention that some games have done is, and who knows if this will be the case, is sometimes when games do kind of cross the generational leap, they'll kind of be like Halo Infinite is going to have like split screen co-op. And it's like there are some times where it's like, oh, but the Xbox One version like won't have that, And I
didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like certain missing features. I can't think of any games. I tried looking it up. There are definitely games that it was like this feature is only on the newer consoles.
Destiny. Is that what you mean? Like Destiny 2, how they have exclusives on PlayStation and exclusive strikes?
No. I mean like hardware limitations where it's like, hey, this, and I'm not talking about 30 FPS versus 60. I'm talking about like, hey, I know there are specific.
There's a Call of Duty for sure.
I was going to say it might be Call of Duty where it's like, on 360 there's no split screen because they can't run two versions of the game to get on the old hardware, but on the new one. It has it. And
like it's missing features.
Halo Infinite, do we know yet? Is it coming out on Scarlet and the Xbox One at the same time?
Everything's coming out at the same time.
Same
on
time.
PC, Xbox One, just the whole suite of.
Oh yeah, PC's in the mix too.
Which is crazy because Master Chief Collection isn't even on.
It's coming.
It is this year, but
it will be,
someday.
Yeah.
Wait for it.
Shortly, hopefully.
Yeah.
But no, that's crazy that it's coming out to both at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen Halo Reach played on a PC, and it's definitely exists.
Speaking of Halo, just sort of on the Halo subject, I did a report where we talked about Halo Outpost Discovery. I went to the one in Florida, and I think they just had their last one. It was in Anaheim, California, and I was incredibly happy to see that they implemented all the fan feedback, and I heard really great things about Philadelphia and the other locations. So to hear that they implemented upon that and improved the event has me excited to see if they do it again. and then are able to continue to improve upon the service that they offered. It really, like, I was trying to do a consumer service. It didn't come off right tonally, but I was really happy to see that the feedback was implemented well. And I did want to at least update on Unlocked that I heard great things about the follow-up events.
Well, that's great. I do hope they bring that back because obviously I don't think a lot of us got to travel to go do that.
Yeah.
So I would love to see it come through again somewhere. And I know, like, the thing is with the US too is that it's just so big that it's really hard to get events like that around so many different parts of the country. And so a rerun would be really great for the people who I missed out on and obviously would love to go.
It's like they tried to hit like time zone areas of the country.
Just key big things. Yeah. Well, cool. That's Halo. I'm so excited. I miss it, Chief. And I don't, anytime we bring up Halo, I just keep hoping that they do more cool Easter eggs like that one that you guys talked about before. The QR code. I lost my mind when I saw that. I was like, what?
Yeah. You heard the Cortana thing too, right?
Yeah.
It's really nice.
I love that shit.
I'm just so excited to have
I love
split screen again.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean,
it was important for a lot of people, actually.
it was I had so much fun with all the previous Halos playing co-op split screen, like especially like in high school, like every day when Halo 2 and Halo 3 came out, that's all we did. But once they took that away in Halo 5, like I haven't even played Halo 5, like don't kill me, but like I'm excited to go back to Halo Infinite because the split screen co-op is coming back. I don't know what I just hit. I'm sorry.
I don't know what that was.
just that ferocity. You know?
They're like, you didn't play Halo 5? The internet is coming.
Yeah, I know. I feel it now. It's like, oh gosh.
Yeah, it's all good. Well, cool. Let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. Another adventure in space. The Outer Wilds will have permadeath.
Outer Worlds.
Outer Wilds.
Oh my God! I wrote the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
Will have
Outer Wilds is in space.
I think
and
everyone.
you can permadeath.
And you can.
I think everyone in the office has made that mistake at least twice.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
There's so many. There's Outer Wilds, Outer Worlds, then there's Outward. Like, come on, guys.
Hey guys, what if this was an elaborate plan for me to tell you to play Outer Wilds because it's on Game Pass?
It is.
And it's so good. It is like one of my favorite games of this year. Just gotta say that again. Just please play it.
I'm
Anyway.
sorry for interrupting your segment about
it's
Outer
fine.
Wilds plugging.
Yeah, this is my show now, guys. Sorry, Ryan's gone. It's all on me. Anyway, so Outer Worlds will have some pretty cool changes depending on your difficulty, and it's mostly just the hardest difficulty, which is called Supernova. So you can only start with this. Like if you pick it, you have to start pick it at the beginning, and you can go down from this difficulty, but you can't go back up to it because there's some like pretty intense features that it has if you do start with it. So enemies have more health and deal more damage, obviously standard, but you must eat, drink, and sleep to survive. Companions can die permanently. Crippled body and limb conditions can only be healed with bed rest. Weapons and armor work poorly at zero durability. You can only fast travel to your ship. You can only sleep inside. Accepting flaws is mandatory. I don't know what that means.
There's a new flaw system, actually. So, like,
one.
if you fail a mission too many times, they're like, okay, now your stealth is worse.
Now you must accept your flaws.
And then you have to accept it.
Forever.
So wait, how do you get a flaw?
If you fail a mission repeatedly, eventually they're just like, all right, you're dumb now.
Yeah, there's like a whole flaw system in the game.
That's cool.
We have a video on IGN explaining how the system works.
I'm gonna have to watch that after.
Yeah. Janet Garcia, shout out.
Yay, Janet. And then you can only manually save inside your ship, and autosaves are limited compared to other difficulty options.
Okay.
So it's like very
Really hardcore.
substantial. Yeah, which is so cool because I love seeing that final difficulty really change up the game, and that rarely ever happens. Usually it's just, well, it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
And this is beyond that. That's like, yes, it's a challenge, but also you got to survive and your companions can die.
I like playing games on hard. I don't like eat and drink mechanics.
I love it.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm like, oh, I got to eat all the time. It just becomes an annoyance to me more than like a challenging mechanic.
I think the thing is for me.
Then you're just holding on to 300 cheese wheels or something. So you have
fun,
food
though.
to eat. You want real hard mode? If you only eat cheese, then like other bodily functions don't work properly. You know,
I was just playing.
you got to have a balanced diet.
Dragon Quest Builders 2 does that. It makes you eat to keep your stamina up and something.
The Fallouts do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have their. This is fairly similar to survival mode. I like that the companions can die. That's something like Fallout 4 kind of did away with. Is like actually like people being able to actually die. It's like Nick Valentine's on the ground. You just stim pack him. We're good to go.
My favorite mod was you can kill Preston Garvey. A settlement's interest. Shut up, Preston.
Yeah, so I think that'll be a fun way to play it. So the reason I actually do like when you have to eat is because I love cooking mechanics in games.
Okay.
And even if this doesn't have like that kind of thing, like just having a balanced meal, like for instance, not just finding a billion cheese balls, but also buying them an apple if I can.
Yeah.
And then maybe find them a good dinner. It's like that weird, very in-depth RPG mindset, like where I get into that game and like try to make it as realistic as possible for me. I like just enjoy that.
And you might like Dragon Quest Builders too, where you have to make all your people balanced meals.
Yep, it's important to me.
Do you go into a house that you've either robbed or acquired, and then set a plate with a knife and fork, and then take the apple out of your inventory, then set it on, and like make a dinner for yourself?
It's too much.
I actually did that in Fallout.
Really?
I like set the table and stuff.
That's
like, this
kind
is
of
my
adorable.
house.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have soup.
Yeah. That's cool.
It's very goofy, but
Yeah.
it's just fun.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I love living in video games. It's like really
Immersion.
Yeah.
It's like the people that read all the books in Skyrim.
Yeah. So I'm excited for the Outer Worlds
Yeah, the Outer Worlds is like
difficulty.
shot up there very quick. Like the game looked cool, and then I remember John Ryan went to the preview of it, and he came back and he's like, "Hey, so like I know it looks new and flashy. Like that new trailer looked like super newish and stuff." He's like, "This is like 2010 Fallout New Vegas," and it's like when I was watching the footage,
And you were like, sold.
yeah, I really was because I love New Vegas and like watching the footage and seeing like you go up and talk to somebody and it's like the camera zooms in and they're just like center screen and everything goes blurry around them and I'm like, this is so Fallout. Like
I'm stoked for this game.
Me too.
yeah, I can't believe that they actually went the direction of having your player character not talk, but I'm down with it. Like I'm down with everything about this game. It looks really, really cool.
I'm not quite sold yet, but the difficulty,
Casey.
I know.
Well, I think
it's the type of
It's
game
fine.
that I have to play to see if I'll get into or not.
Yeah.
Do you like Fallout?
That's totally fair.
I was
I like
gonna say,
Fallout.
I think
it'll-
like we're
that'd be fine.
super, like we're crazy Fallout fans. I know you two are, and I am as well. And so I think it's just one of those things where it's like this seems to be scratching that Fallout itch more than I thought it was going to, and that's why I'm more excited than I thought I was gonna be.
Yeah, I think part of that too is me not wanting to learn too much about it because this might be a game I get to play like for fun, but for of course game of the year consideration and all of that. So I just want to take it in as I can.
Yeah.
And
think
you
I
can
might-
play it on the Switch.
Oh, cool.
Play it anywhere.
I don't think
Wait,
I'm gonna do that.
That's
I wouldn't.
no.
It's
I
a
would.
huge,
I would.
play on
it's
the
a
PC.
huge open world
Or
game.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a huge open world game. I was like, I don't know about
I'm
the
the-
Switch version.
Yeah, no. Look, I'm the host of the Nintendo podcast. This game is not going to be as good on the Switch.
Nope.
Sometimes
I
it's
might
good
play
to
on my
know.
Xbox. I actually kind of still prefer playing Fallout on console, but you know, you lose out on all those super cool
mods.
mods. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
mods.
mod mine.
And PC, you can like
I don't mod
tilt in all
anything.
your loot that you need to build your crazy arena. Remember
Yeah,
that
because
part?
why play the game when you can just tilde your way through a door?
I'll just let someone else
But like when we used to do the monster battle videos,
Those are good.
you know.
Yeah, but this is not built on that engine. You
No,
can
I
definitely
know.
mod it though.
I'm just saying that's why PC's fun.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's fine. We got to move on because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, we are on a tight schedule today, and we're gonna get kicked out. So I'm just gonna quickly mention that Respawn is teasing a new Apex Legends character. Woo! Shout out to Tina Sanchez.
It literally
She's
says woo right there.
yeah, woo! She's working at IGN, and she posted 2 images of her in a motion capture suit holding a cane. Crypto is like the rumored to be the next character, and he's been teased a little bit, assuming he's a he. And yeah. And they also announced this new temporary solo mode as part of an event that's starting on August 13th and ends on the 27th.
Do you think they might implement a permanent solo mode? Because that would be very exciting.
I would assume it depends on the popularity and how
Okay.
well the solo mode goes.
Full disclosure, I've been here long enough that I can say I worked with Tina. She worked directly across from my desk.
Oh, cool. I never got to work with her.
Yeah.
I just knew she worked here.
That was way back in the day.
We joke about being sisters.
Oh yeah.
Great. Yeah. It's my
Yeah,
sister.
she's a very kind person.
Yeah, that's
She also came to work in mocap gear all the time. It was weird. No, I'm just kidding.
That's just like her preferred.
Yeah, that's just what she
outfit.
wears. I don't know why this is such a big story. You know, I'm
Yeah,
just
never
kidding.
Oh
That's just
yeah.
her dressing up.
I actually know who that is. I forgot. I met her. They came and took a picture with us
Cool.
when Apex first came out.
Anyway, that's Apex.
Stoked for
Very
a new
exciting.
hero. What was the last one? Watson, right?
Yep, Watson.
Okay,
Yeah.
you play crap at Apex.
Yeah, I play a lot of Apex.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to play as much lately just because things have been fun at home, but it's fine. Anyway, let's go on to our next story just because
Solo mode 813 to 827.
I said that.
Oh, sorry, I missed it.
How dare you? Anyway.
I had to make my dumb Tina joke.
No,
All right.
that's great. Tina's great. You're great. Bam.
you.
I'm going to steal you, Bam.
You're great.
You're great. No, you're
But not
breathtaking.
me. You're breathtaking.
Anyway, let's move on to something that's not breathtaking, I guess.
Ninja.
So, okay, yes, Ninja moved to Mixer. I guess that's a big news.
That's a thing.
Yeah, he did, and he broke his record on subs already. Because they basically give them to you for free.
Well, he broke his record on viewer count, but that was on his first stream. That was always going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know how well it's been going. It could be 100% fine.
This is a bigger story. People write this off all the time, the whole Ninja moving to Mixer thing. It is a huge story that a platform hired one streamer, and that one streamer was able to garner them enough interest to almost rationalize whatever they paid him behind closed doors.
I heard a ridiculous number. I don't know if it's true though.
It's fake.
Yeah, who
It's fake?
really
Okay, cool.
knows?
Mm-hmm.
But also,
That's a parody account. Don't.
oh.
Fake news.
The thing is, with this, it's kind of curious to see how this plays out in the long term, right? Because do people really care about Mixer that much? Yes,
About
you hired this big guy, but yeah. But what about
A lot
else, right?
of
Retention's a big thing.
speculation. This is a long play for Halo. He's Halo
yes.
bred.
Yes,
you're
you
right.
know, that's his
They wanted to get him over there, build the audience,
Yeah.
and then he'll play Halo Infinite.
And
that could be.
Twitch has something happened with Twitch. I don't know what, but I mean, they got.
I just like that it shows that free agencies. I know this isn't the topic, but it's I just like that free agency is a thing. The fact that he was he's not beholden to Twitch. You would think he would be, and then he's like, "No, I'm going to go to Mixer."
Yeah.
The weird thing about his
cool.
announcement for me was that he kept saying, "I'm going back to my roots." It's what does that even mean?
Halo.
The way the Halo thing is
time.
the way I kind of took that was, I think he kind of had fun building his audience, and now he's so far on top that it's maybe he just doesn't see it as a challenge anymore. Is kind of how I took it, as he's just he's always going to be number one on Twitch now. He's just so far ahead that it's maybe he wants to try to help another platform grow and see himself. Maybe he's just there's no more growth for him on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
He's the biggest.
Yeah.
And so back to his roots is streamers want to build their own growth, and maybe that's kind of what he.
I don't think that really changes by him moving another platform, though.
I mean,
the dude makes $6
maybe
million
not
a
him,
year.
maybe not him, but as far
That's
as
just from
platforms
his subscribers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he makes a lot.
We'll see. It'll be interesting. But Mixer's also come under fire because now that it is more popular, people are noticing some weird things about it. Specifically, its clothing guide, which is something else. So a lot of people have been talking about this on Twitter. And have pointed out that there are 3 categorizations for your streams. So there's family-friendly streams, and the rules say that clothing must cover the entire visible body from a few inches above the bust line. It cannot be strapless and should show little to no cleavage. That's family-friendly. So, Ariel, you are not family-friendly. Teen streams, clothing can reveal more than a hint of cleavage, but still covers the entire visible body. It cannot be strapless. Okay. 18 plus streams doesn't even worth mentioning about, but the whole thing is wait, what?
And also the thing with 18 plus streams, you can't be that raunchy on Mixer regardless, even if you are 18 plus. 18 plus is just if you are showing a lot of cleavage with spaghetti straps, you are now 18 plus. So if it's you are wearing an outfit for 95-degree weather in Florida, you are now an adult only person, which is ridiculous.
So with the wardrobe you two are wearing today, where do you fall on the Mixer guidelines?
Oh, I mean, I have plenty of spaghetti straps and
with what you have on now.
Today,
Because I don't understand fashion, so I don't know.
Oh, you're what am I wearing today?
Yeah, what? Today I'd be family friendly. If I undid this one button, I would now be
Adults only?
I would be teen, but if I was wearing a different bra, I'd be 18 plus.
I actually don't know if you're family friendly. You might be a teen.
Oh, right now?
Yeah, because you're the
because it's a V-neck?
Further down.
If I was wearing a different bra, I'd
Maybe.
be teen.
Yeah. So it's so silly. You're talking to adults streaming, and yes, of course, I think they're trying to nip in the bud something the e-girls and stuff, and they don't want, and I guess moderating for that is really hard, and I get it, but at the same time, it's so grossly just focused on women and saying, like, you can't wear spaghetti straps. Like, are you kidding me? Am I in middle school again?
And also, like, some women are different sizes, and they could wear the same shirt I wear, and now they are 18 plus, even for wearing the same shirt.
The cleavage part.
Just because of the cleavage part. It looks different depending on how you're built.
Yeah, and it all comes down to comfort. Like, some clothes are just more comfortable for women than others, and it suddenly puts them in 18 plus, and it's like, okay, that's great. Thanks.
I read this. It's actually like 3 pages long. Their clothing clause.
It's a lot.
I went on the website, and I'm like,
I found one page. Weirdly.
Like if you were to print, it's like two and a half pages probably.
Okay,
that's what I was basing off. Yeah. So I looked through it, and I'm like, okay, I think I get what you're trying to avoid, which is what you said, nip in the bud. People that are just basically, whatever you refer to them as, e-girls.
E-girls.
Yeah. But this is it's like they assign some guy like, figure out how to write this in text.
Yeah.
And when you write it all down, it comes off impersonal.
It's very limiting. And like some of this, of course,
too conservative.
That would be harder for like some men too, if they're like wearing tank tops or something. But
they specifically say like if a man has no shirt, he also is he would be adults only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and also no robes or open shirts either. So that would also affect both.
There's
both
a pajamas clause.
What?
There's a clause about if you're wearing nightwear, for example.
There's also a thing about swimsuits. It's like they're only appropriate if you're like on a family-friendly beach setting or something. It's very specific.
Yeah.
They get really into it. And again, like I understand like making rules for these things is very hard, but also, just
I'm trying to think
could use a little bit of reevaluation to like better make sure that you're serving your community while taking care of the problems, but you're not harming your community.
It's coming off detached or too conservative, and I get what they're trying to do. I think they need to work on the messaging.
Now the whole like no cleavage at all thing is just weird.
Or like just how cuts work too. It's like how much you need to be covered, and they talk about like different bones and stuff. It's like what?
Oh yeah, like the torso clause and like no under.
Well, they started the whole thing with like explaining.
That's fine.
Yeah,
they started with like explaining like how bodies work. They were like it was like this whole thing, and it was like when we say this, we mean this. And when we say this, and they're like, and now here are the rules.
Imagine being the person who had to write this though, and just being like, you want me to do what?
Yeah.
This is a collarbone.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
this
think
is a good pass. Let's get medical with it.
I'm trying to think of the best solution, and I really think just like make sure you are obviously wearing clothing on stream and don't make the focus anything adults. And I guess that is a lot more vague, and people could get away with more. But I mean,
their enforcement is probably like if somebody is overtly trying to like be an e-girl, then they're gonna probably contact them and be like, "Hey, look, like, we see what you're doing.
Yeah, don't do that.
Look at our guidelines. Like, try and make it a little more family friendly."
Yeah,
I hope.
I'm
I don't know if
wondering,
anybody's come under fire.
That's the question as well. Is like, is this just a precaution, and they're not actually going to go after people
how they
unless
actually
they
implementing it
are obviously trying to attract that kind of audience, or are they actually going after someone who's wearing a V-neck T-shirt with big breasts that just happens to have a little bit of cleavage?
I stream on Twitch, and sometimes they have a bounty board system, for example, and apparently we're not really supposed to talk about it. So they're like, so they sort of talked about that, and they've contacted me about that. So it's like when they recognize that something's happening, then they'll contact you, or like I'll notice I don't have enough concurrence, so I just cancel it. For example, like there's all these systems that these places have, and it's sort of like when they notice a bad thing's happening, they'll contact you. But this is probably just a precautionary measure.
Yeah, and
that comes off
harsh,
conservative, and
that's
harsh.
what it read as. And I think when someone from Mixer had made a comment about it a while back about them just trying to put things in place to keep it a little bit safer for kids and stuff. And like I totally get that, but at the same time, like.
Like guys, spaghetti straps.
Let's it's 2019, guys. Let's grow up a little bit.
And it also just seems to open it up to be able for people to complain, because someone could just go on someone they don't like, and if their shirt is like a tiny bit too low cut to show a little bit of cleavage. They can be like, this person is a teen plus stream actually only, and they're listed as family friendly. Please go get them.
Yeah.
Like,
anyway, yeah, it's like a weird conversation, and hopefully by everyone talking about it, like, they'll look at it and maybe make some changes.
Yeah,
hopefully it is just
time.
precaution.
For Ninja's new home.
Yeah, they'll probably look at it, come back out with a statement in like a month or something, and be like, "Hey, look, we looked at it. It's bad."
I mean, it's not going to affect Ninja because he won't stream with women anyway. So
It's true.
Yeah, that's that whole thing.
Anyway, that's our episode of Unlocked. Thanks for joining on this fun ride, this fun summer ride.
go play Monster Hunter.
Play Outer Wilds. That's what I got. So you guys got anything to plug before we head
What
out?
is a palico?
I told you.
Oh my God, Mark.
I forgot.
It's a
What
feline.
was that monster's name?
Which one?
Kalimu?
Toby Kadachi.
I used to have a Toby Dagachi and it died. But then they banned him in school and they didn't like
Mark,
that.
you're just so wonderful.
I used to have those. Those were cool.
If you've been wondering, I almost got my Destiny Solstice set.
Ooh.
I was wondering.
Nobody was wondering.
I
I was.
wondering.
That
Kept me up
Now
all
I'm
night.
wondering.
That grind sucks.
I'm sorry.
It's like the thing you would do in Monster Hunter when nothing else is going on. They're like,
Yeah.
Please
hey.
explain it in terms she would understand.
Well, that's
like in
what-
Monster.
Here we go. I'm taking your role now. Wait, wow. Please tell me more.
Oh yeah, well, you see,
No
the
way.
reason you would do it is because Armor 2.0 is
2.0.
just kidding. We'll do the real outro.
Okay, but say, wait, I'm gonna play.
Yeah, go for it. Thanks everybody.
Yeah, thanks you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
I want to bring it down naturally.
There's a fade out.